Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Million Dollar Secrets Season 2, Episodes 1, 2, and 3. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe, hit the bell, hype up the video, and leave a comment down below. So if you are new to this show, the premise is that there are all these house guests living in a house together, and one person is a secret millionaire. The objective is to be the last person with the $1 million. So along the way, the millionaire has tasks they have to complete, and if they do, they get a reward. If they don't, they get a penalty. Then there is an activity that they do every so few days, and that activity helps you get clues on who the millionaire is. And then there's an elimination dinner where you're trying to get rid of the millionaire or play another strategy. But the point is, you want to be the last person with the $1 million. So quickly, let's meet the cast. We have Daisy. She believes she's very strong socially and she plans to be everybody's friend. We have Hunter, who plans to be the likable idiot. He's also claiming that he works at a restaurant. Not sure where he actually works, but that's his story. We meet Tarek, who I didn't really get much information on, to be honest. There's also Melissa, who we don't know much about. Lauren T, we don't know much about either. Casey, we don't know much about either. Caleb, we know that he's a cowboy and a family man. Yumiko is very quiet. I'm not sure if that's how she naturally is or if that's her gameplay. Kevin wants to play a very blunt game and he asks people straight up if they have the money. Like, he's not scared at all. Nick claims he's from Florida, but then he is caught in his lie immediately when he says he was actually raised in Jersey. So people suspect that he's not very truthful. Lauren G is intimidated by all the young girls and she's looking to connect with the older crowd. Kat is a beverage cart attendant who's avoiding the $1 million for as long as possible. Natalie was the first to actually get a clue on who the millionaire is, which is somebody who is a firstborn, Altie. He's pretending to be a social studies teacher because people don't trust politicians, and he is our first millionaire, which he did not want to be. So the host, Peter, invites the millionaire to his secret lair, and here is where Altie learns what the task is. He has to say a phrase 10 times to get a reward, which is going to be a kill shot, and the penalty is going to be 3 votes against him. So he has to choose between the phrases, "See you later, alligator," "No cap," "Give me some skin," "Bye, Felicia," and "Sorry, not sorry." And he chose "No cap." I feel like "No cap" was the best option because you don't actually need to get a response, and it doesn't really raise a lot of red flags if you play it right. The problem with Altie is every time he said "no cap," he made it a big thing. He's like, "Yeah, no cap." And if he said it repeatedly, he'd be like, "Yeah, no cap, no cap." Oh. Natalie does not do herself any favors because when everybody's trying to figure out who the millionaire might be, she makes a blunder and says that she had absolutely nothing in her box.
Was there something in it?
Nothing.
Oh, really?
She might have had either a clue or the money in there.
Opened my box, and it was a paper like this. But unfortunately, you're not the millionaire, blah, blah.
So what else did the card say, if you don't mind me asking?
What else did the card say?
Something from it?
I can't remember that whole damn thing.
I was wondering why Natalie didn't choose a subtle approach. But as we see more of Natalie, we realize she's anything but subtle. She is very blunt, very aggressive in the way that she plays the game, which can work in her favor if she's pointing people in the right direction. And I don't feel like that's what was happening with her. There was a lot of misdirection. So yeah, Natalie from the jump was raising a lot of red flags for people. Then you have Altie, who Altie was asked what was in the box, and he said he got a note, but he couldn't remember what was on the note. Mind you, Peter gave him the note and said, "Here's what everybody else received in their box." This man didn't remember not one line. Luckily enough, he was able to, bluff, but that was such a big mistake. If somebody's giving you pertinent information, hey, this is what everybody else got, you gotta remember what the hell is on that page. At least he knew it was long. The next day, he's realizing that his game plan is being clocked very easily by Nick and Kevin. So he decides to give this little backstory on where No Cap came from. He has this greeting with his high school students where, they just say common slang or whatever. And No Cap is one of the things that he has heard from the kids.
Yo,
No cap, no cap. I'm a teacher.
No cap, no cap.
I guess that's believable. The repetition for me though would have made me be like, well, why are you saying it this often? And sometimes he says it and it doesn't even apply. Altie got through that by the skin of his teeth. He was able to complete his task. I think what came in clutch was him talking to Caleb. Caleb has no clue what's going on at this point in the game. He's so oblivious to everything. So he didn't pick up on anything that Altie was dropping. Also, it helps that Daisy, being as friendly as she is, was causing some concern for some people. So she was hugging every single person any chance she got. And some people were like,
Hi, sweetie pie.
Good morning, good morning.
How are we, Daisy?
Don't give Daisy a hug. It's something we're clocking.
That feels like a secret mission, but it wasn't. So luckily, Altie was able to receive his kill shot. Speaking of kill shots, the first activity is a bow and arrow challenge. So there's one person who's the shooter and another person who's the target. If the shooter hits the target, they get to go into the trophy room. If they miss the target, then the target gets to go into the trophy room. However, the target has a choice to reveal a secret about themselves to make the shot just a little bit harder. We're gonna start with Nick, who targets Yumiko, and she decides to keep her secret, which is that she lied about being an only child to Natalie. Nick luckily missed the shot. Casey targets Kevin, who reveals that Nick seems sus because of the whole Florida thing. Casey did miss the shot. Kat targets Lauren T, who reveals that she has an older sister, but Kat missed the shot. Hunter targets Lauren G, who reveals that she is a firstborn, and Hunter hit the target. Altie targets Daisy, who decides to keep her secret. Altie did hit the target. Melissa targets Tarek, who doesn't believe that Natalie was being truthful about her box being empty, and Melissa hits the target. And last was Natalie, who targets Caleb, who reveals that he is an award-winning real estate agent, and Natalie hit the target, meaning Yumiko, Kevin, Lauren T, Altie, Melissa, Hunter, and Natalie are all going into the trophy room. Off rip, Hunter is like, I need to be the one in the trophy room, right? So he's trying to rally the votes, but Natalie is adamantly against him because she knows that he is a firstborn, and that is the clue that she received from the box, right? So she's like, yeah, let's throw in Lauren. Lauren doesn't want no parts. Lauren doesn't want to be involved at all, but she's speaking with so much conviction. I just know that Lauren is telling the truth, and everybody's confused because all the while, Natalie has been kind of like in the background. She's like sussing people out, knowing this information, but not being very vocal from the beginning. So all of a sudden, she becomes very vocal about knowing that Lauren is a truth teller and not wanting, not wanting Hunter to go into the trophy room. This is where her game starts to ramp up. She begins to be very like forthright from this point onward. Either way, the group decided to send in Hunter, and after the fact, there's a lot of speculation on Natalie, and I don't blame them because she was playing real hard. So the clue that they got was that the millionaire was keeping it real. So obviously that refers to no cap, right? The way that I would have played it off would have been the way that Natalie is going around trying to ask people their real life story. Don't you think that's her trying to keep it real with people? Like, hey, keep it real with me. Tell me the truth. And then with Daisy, I would have said, if I'm trying to keep it real with somebody, I'm trying to be really personable. I'm trying to break down physical boundaries. So the fact that she was going around hugging everyone, I think that's her trying to, keep it real with people. Her trying to get really up close and personal with people. Natalie and Hunter had a spat because she tried to tell him, listen, I have the clue. Let me work with you so we can figure out who the person is. Hunter thinks that she's lying. She's not lying, but I don't blame him because she was gunning for him not too long ago. Why now would he trust her?
If it isn't obvious by now, I'm the one that got the clue. Altie is a firstborn child.
I am a firstborn child.
Why should I trust you? We got in the trophy room and you started pointing at, you made me look
I
awful.
was trying to protect you. How do you not see that? How can I be the millionaire and have the clue at the same time?
Because you're lying.
I was trying
12
to
other people were in
protect you.
consensus.
This conversation's done.
Sounds good.
You're an idiot.
She played herself by playing very aggressive in the trophy room. She should have been a bit more lenient, just let things play out for the first few days, but she went in guns blazing, and Hunter is right to not trust her. So moving forward to the elimination dinner, people are starting to get on the bandwagon of, I think it was Nick. It's either Nick or Kevin. Those two confuse me sometimes. Not that they look alike, but they have a similar game. One of them was like, keeping it real, no cap, it has to be Altie.
This is gonna sound random.
I heard Altie say no cap, and I heard it like 3 or 4 times. Altie is the millionaire.
You have your student greetings when they come in your classroom.
Yes, you're young Gen Zers.
I just had to speak up.
Altie starts to panic. He's throwing Daisy under the bus, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, they're going off of the clue. Find a way to apply the clue to people's suspicions already. People were suspecting people were suspecting Daisy. And you could put some speculation on Natalie because she just had a 180 coming from the trophy room. At this elimination dinner, Natalie was asking every person point blank, where are you in the birth order? Where are you in the birth order? And we find out that Yumiko lied because she told Natalie that she's an only child, but in fact, she is a firstborn. You could use that. Ultimately, the majority of the group decided to vote out Altie, who obviously is the millionaire. He walks out saying he has no regrets. I have plenty of regrets for his game. Plenty. He shouldn't have been so bold with the no cap, and he could have found a way to make the clues apply to other people. I didn't see enough of that from him. I felt like he just started to spiral and couldn't get his bearings after he was accused. After the elimination, everybody's patting Nick's back. Oh my goodness, Nick, you're so smart. Nick, you sussed it out. Nick, you were able to put the clues together. Wow, all hail Nick. The way Nick would be my first target? I need to make sure this man is out of this house, because if he's able to pick up on something that nobody else nobody else in the house was able to pick up on, I need him gone in case I am the next millionaire. He has to be the first to go. But no, everybody's like, wow, now we feel like we can trust him. Okay. The next morning, we learn that the new millionaire is Caleb, and he's excited to get it because he feels like he'll be a good liar. When he goes into the secret lair with Peter, Peter tells him that his task is to get 3 people to wear one of his hats. The reward is the same as Altie's, and if he's unable to complete the challenge, he gets 3 votes against him. So the next activity is a team activity. They get split up in 2 teams, and they're supposed to do a scavenger hunt by deciphering certain clues, right? Both teams were able to find 2 clues, but I felt like the team that had, I think it was Kevin, the reason why the win was so close was because he wasn't very observant. He was fast, but he was missing the treasure that was right in front of him so often. Luckily they won, but it was a very close call. I personally would not have been comfortable with that. After the challenge, we see Tariq return. Tariq had left because he wasn't feeling great. He was checked by the medical team, and when he came back, he discovered he was vulnerable. Couldn't even be immune because of your own immune system. Damn. But anyways, Natalie is really showing her cards here because she's telling everybody, I'm putting the weight on my back to find out who the secret millionaire is. But everybody's doing that. You're no more important than the next person. Just because she got the clue the first time, she thinks that she's the top dog when it comes to investigating. Everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's here for the same purpose. While all that is happening, Caleb is trying to complete his task. I'll be so honest, because nobody was looking at Caleb at all. If I were him, I would just lose it on purpose. 3 votes against me while nobody is, suspecting me, and there's so many people still in the game, I would take the risk. But anyways, he decides to fabricate a task, and surprisingly it worked.
I might be making a huge mistake, but I don't think I am.
I'm so happy that you trust me enough to tell.
Now go get 2 more.
Is this gonna get me killed?
No, it will not.
Put the cowboy hat on. I put it on. I'll put it on again.
As I was watching this, I was so stressed. I was thinking, Caleb, I get telling Yumiko. You tell one person, hey, I have this secret mission. Please help me accomplish it or whatever. You're telling 2 more people? You couldn't just get Yumiko to come on board and to be like, okay, don't you think his hat is cool? Oh my gosh, you should put it on. Do something. But he told all these people to see if they would come on side, and luckily it worked for him, but that was such a risk. I guess high risk, high reward, but I would not risk that. So Hunter is still annoyed with Natalie because of the altercation they had either the day before or 2 days before. So he wants to target her. He wants the whole house to turn against her, which isn't going to be that hard because, like I said, Natalie is playing a very aggressive game. Some people are personally offended by Natalie. I think one of them was Daisy. Daisy did not appreciate how Natalie was talking to her in the activity. She was just telling her to be quiet a lot, and she was shutting her down instead of allowing everybody to decipher the clues as a team. So it wasn't that hard to get people to feel a way about Natalie, right? Caleb was eating this up because nobody's looking in his direction, and he now has an alliance who is going to help him put the heat on Natalie instead of putting it on him. So fast forward to the dinner. When the winning team went into the trophy room, the clue was given to Melissa, and Melissa decided to keep it to herself and only share it at the dinner. So the clue was, in the first challenge, the millionaire was as straight as an arrow.
My interpretation would be that those who told the truth.
Or it could mean a straight arrow was a good shot.
So those are the people we need to be looking at right now.
Melissa, I thought she was gonna come with some accusations like, okay, I've done my deductive reasoning, I've done my investigation, I know who my shortlist is. But instead, people are now dissecting what the clue even means because she held on to it for so long, so they haven't had time to digest it. I think that was a bad play. They decided it's either somebody who was able to hit the target or somebody who told the truth. Caleb is one of them. So now Caleb is a suspect. They're also thinking, I think Natalie, because Natalie told the truth as well. And there was a third person who I don't remember, but either way, Natalie is in the hot seat.
I think you have been acting odd. It was like you held court in here. And then on a personal level, you have talked down to me, told me to stop talking. If we were back home, you would be on the floor.
I have been grilling everybody. Like, I'm really competitive. Grew up with parents who fight really hard. You look at money differently. I came here because I really want this money. I think I'm a tough cookie for sure, but I'm not this absolute bitch.
I'm sorry, the tears would not have worked on me because respectfully, we all have a story. We're all here for the same reason. We want to take this money home for whatever reason. But yeah, the sob story is not going to keep me from voting you out. And ultimately, I would have voted for her simply because she would have been pissing me off. Like, I don't like somebody who feels like they're above the program. They're bigger than the program. And Natalie definitely thought that she was more important than some other people in the villa. Why do I keep saying villa? Some other people in the house. So on that premise alone, I would have been like, girl, you got to go. Ultimately, the house did decide that she was going to be eliminated. And of course, she's not the millionaire. So the millionaire was able to get their kill shot and they hit Tarek. Tarek wasn't really very pivotal in the show as far as the edit is concerned, so it's no love lost for the audience. There was a moment in the episode when Caleb was talking to his alliance, and I was like, did nobody hear that? Caleb was saying, trust me, I will have your back in the elimination. Like basically saying, you don't have to worry, you're gonna be good. For me, of course, we know the bigger picture, so it seems like, oh, I'd be able to clock this easily. But for me, somebody being so sure that I could trust them, I'm questioning them. If you guys have ever played Mafia, I listen to the person who's like, without a shadow of a doubt, I know who is the wolf and who is not the wolf, or whichever version of Mafia that you're playing. Who is Mafia, who's not the Mafia, because they're likely the detective, or they have some sort of advantage in the game. And if we've already deduced that Natalie has a clue, then it's likely that Caleb is the one who has the money. Finally, Kat puts her thinking hat on and she's like, wait a minute. Typically, Peter tells us what the advantages in the game are. He tells us who had a secret. No, he tells us that there is a secret mission, but he doesn't say who had the secret mission. He never announced a secondary secret mission, which is what Caleb is claiming he had. So automatically she's like, it's Caleb. And thankfully, because she played it exactly how I would have played it, she's like, I'm going to use this information to my advantage. I'm not going to sell him out. I'm going to tell my alliance and we're going to back him up. We're going to defend him to make sure that he stays in the game as long as possible and we get to cut him whenever we feel like we need to cut him. What she forgets is one of the advantages is that at some point the money is going to shift and the millionaire has a decision to give up the money or choose another advantage. In the next meeting with Peter, Caleb learns that his task is to follow Kevin around for 45 minutes and he has to keep a maximum of a 15-foot radius. In a house like this where everybody has to lie and stuff, you're gonna get clocked immediately. immediately. So the reward is he either gets to move around the money randomly, or he gets 3 votes that he gets to cast. And the penalty is that 3 votes will be cast against him. He decides that his reward will be to move the money around because, you know, the block is hot, okay? People are really suspicious of him. He doesn't want this task anymore. When he goes to start his secret mission, at first, he was able to finesse it, but as time went on, it was getting really weird.
I want to talk to you.
Okay, Sam.
I will come and talk to you too.
Man, I'm sorry.
I do need to separate. I'm sorry.
This is wild. Because it is wild to me too.
Let me have my own conversations. She will not leave my side.
Okay. Are you okay?
I throw poor Melissa straight under the bus.
Melissa apparently told him to try to rattle my cage. That's a little bit insane.
I don't know how Caleb keeps doing it, but he comes up with stories that initially fools the people who he's talking to. So he says, oh, I'm following you because basically somebody had a hit out on you and I'm doing their dirty work trying to see if you are the millionaire, right? And Kevin believed him. Kevin believed him. He's like, oh, now I'm looking at Melissa crazy because, and then the other girl, I forget who he was talking to. I think her name is Casey. Casey is like, no, but you got to look at Caleb too. And he's like, yeah, but Melissa. It's only when Melissa catches wind that this story is going around about her. And she goes up to Kevin and she's like, point blank, Caleb is lying. That Kevin is like, oh, so it is Caleb. Caleb is the millionaire. But for a second there, it was working. Caleb keeps doing things that I would never do. I would never tell all those people that I had this secret mission that I had to accomplish. I would tell one person and have that person help me. I would never fabricate a story with somebody who didn't even suspect Kevin. At the very least, if somebody put Kevin's name out there, I would be like, listen, I'm working with so-and-so. They suspected you. I wanted to, get the lowdown on you and report back to that person. I'm so sorry. But he just outright lies and people believe him until he gets caught. But the fact that they believed him in the first place, kudos to him. Again, high risk, high reward. The next activity is a team activity again. We have divers and negotiators. The divers are supposed to deceive the negotiators, and if they are successful, they go into the trophy room. If the negotiators are able to, no, interrogators. If the interrogators are able to spot the lies, then they are the ones who go into the trophy room.
An owl and a turtle playing chess.
The hunter is telling the truth.
We're awesome.
I saw a frog on a lily pad.
Casey is telling the truth.
I saw a live mermaid.
I think you're telling the truth. Painting of Peter. The painting was with Peter, so like a safari.
I think she might be telling the truth.
I think you're telling the truth.
Now tied at 2 points each.
Flamingos meditating.
She wants to make us think it's a lie.
I think she's lying.
Flamingos meditating!
Ultimately, the divers were successful, and on the divers team was both Kat and Hunter. These two were able to secure the clue in Kat's hands, and she had to decide if she was going to tell the clue verbatim or manipulate it to have Caleb's back. Remember, she's trying to throw off the scent so she could keep him around as long as possible. So the clue was to be on a first name basis with the millionaire, remember the first letter. So the first letter of the alphabet is A, and she thinks it's everybody who has the letter A in their name. But the problem is, so does she, right? So she's trying to pin it on Lauren T. The first letter of the clue is a T. So she's like, okay, this points right to you. And based on the other clue, she was honest in that first challenge. So already things are coming together to point out Lauren T. Lauren T also was doing something where she was asking everybody their age, and they're going to use that against her. I think she was also doing handstands that they're going to use against her. It was a great play. There was so much incriminating evidence to point towards Lauren, and it was actually working. The problem, though, is that Caleb was so sloppy with his task that at the elimination, they are not letting up on the fact that he is the millionaire.
Could it have been that easy? It's very strange.
Yeah, it was wild.
It was kind of odd behavior.
Is it so obvious that we're being played?
My gut is just, it's leaning more towards Caleb.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm not that dumb.
Why did you use Melissa's name?
Because I panicked. I made a mistake.
I had no faith that Caleb would make it out of this elimination. No faith whatsoever. It looked like he was dead to rights, like game over. But somehow his alliance was able to convince enough people to vote out Lauren. And also Caleb did have his 3 votes, so that did work in his favor. And now the money is successfully in somebody else's hands. What I need Caleb to do is stand on business and keep saying he wasn't the millionaire. Because last season, when the money moved, the person who was like, oh, thank God I don't have the money anymore, it was actually me who was the millionaire, they were the next one out. Caleb, if you want to stay, because if you stay and the millionaire gets voted out, the money comes back to the person who moved the money in the first place. So you just need to keep it quiet. Sure, some people in your alliance already know that it was you. Doesn't matter. Keep quiet and just hope and pray that your alliance is not going to sell you down the river. You know what I'm saying? The next morning, we find out that the new millionaire is Nick. And I'm so intrigued to see how he plays this, because so far he's been getting props on how he's been able to piece the clues together and people just trust him, right? But if he's now the millionaire, how is he going to divert the attention away from him, right? We also have people in Caleb's alliance who are feeling like demoralized because now they have to start from scratch. They thought they figured out who the millionaire was, and now it's somebody else. So I'm intrigued to see if they turn on him. We also see in future episodes that Nick is going to have a thing for Yumiko. Plot twist. I would have never put them two together, but hey, I'm here for it. So as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.